You know her. You probably hate her. Today we're talking about the business that literally defies all logic and reasoning and is somehow still successful to this day for literally unknown reasons. Miss Brandy Melville. I'm sure you've heard of Brandy, as it's become like culturally iconic in the United States, like especially in internet spaces. It's everywhere. Celebrities wear it, influencers wear it. You've seen probably a million hauls on TikTok, and probably your little sister is asking for Brandy for Christmas. This company was started by Silvio and Stefan Marsan, a father and son duo in the 1980s in Italy. The company did okay in Italy, but they moved to the United States in 2009 with their first Westwood, California location, and it blew up. Even though Brandy Melville was an Italian-based company, they were somehow able to really nail the rich Malibu teen aesthetic, and American girls went crazy for it. After watching the Brandy Hellville and Cult of Fast Fashion documentary by Eva Orner, I literally had to dive into this myself, because the whole entire time I watched this piece, my jaw was on the floor. Today, I'm not here to just regurgitate the documentary. What I want to talk about is how absurd the Brandy Melville business model is. There is no clear hierarchy of people inside the business. There is no HR department. There is such a lack of any sort of structure or typical corporate anything. It literally defies everything we know. I thought it was super interesting that Brandy Melville is one of the very few brands without either a mission statement or any sort of brand ethos. If you asked a 14-year-old girl on the street what Brandy Melville is, they would tell you it's cool, popular girl, skinny bitch clothes. But beyond that, like, what is Brandy about? Nobody would be able to tell you that. And I don't know if this is on purpose. Literally, I did so much digging, and the only thing I could find is that Brandy is representative of an American girl and Melville is an Englishman, and they fell in love.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
They do have a sub-brand called John Galt, which is a reference from an Ayn Rand book, because they're super big libertarians. I think libertarian has been a little generous, but weird to do a teenage girl store named John Galt, but I digress. One thing that I was able to find, I believe on Business Insider, is how shady the company is set up. Get this. Each store is owned by a different shell company, with the overall company structure designed to be untraceable, raising questions about accountability and transparency. So Brandy Melville Los Angeles, or Brandy Melville Santa Monica, or Brandy Melville Beverly Hills are all under different companies. But they're all Brandy Melville, but they're all separate companies, which is really messy and confusing. Like, what are you trying to hide? Is this like for tax purposes, or are you even shadier than that?
I want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Rocket Money. I recently have gone through a wild breakup. As many of you know, these things can be very difficult, especially financially. I recently downloaded Rocket Money and found out how many subscriptions I pay for. One of them being our AMC Stubs passes. Yeah, I've been paying for 2 people's AMC Stubs memberships that we don't use anymore. Do you know what I could have done with 3 months of those memberships had I remembered that I was paying for that? That's like a manicure and a pedicure. That's like a trip. That's like a day at Disneyland. That's like a nice pair of shoes. So instead of having to make that awkward text being like,
Hey bro, I noticed that I've been paying for your AMC Stubs. Hope you've been enjoying it, but please take my card off or cancel, perhaps?
I am so grateful I had Rocket Money so I could go in the app and click cancel, and they did all the dirty work. If you're like me and you're paying for a million unnecessary subscriptions, or if you just want to stand on business and take control of your life financially, this is the time to do it. Go to rocketmoney.com/StylerBender and get yourself a free trial. You won't regret it, I promise.
After watching the documentary, again, definitely go watch that, it's amazing. It's clear that there is no HR department at Brandy Melville. I mean, how are you a company that big without an HR department? The things that they were doing were just absolutely unspeakable. Like, teenage girls had to send pictures of themselves to the CEO.
Time for your photo, like go stand against that wall and pose so I can text it to the founder of the company you work for.
They hired people on the spot, which I'm sure there will be an HR girly in my comments talking about this. Like, usually, like, I mean, you have to go through like 1, maybe 2 interviews, even for a fucking retail job. That's just how the world works. So to get hired on the spot just because you're hot is actually so wild. Not to mention, most companies have a buying team where literally their job is to do research, to be on all the trends, to look at get data and find the items that a store wants to sell each season. I worked in fashion for a minute and I met a woman who used to be a head buyer at a pretty big brand, and she kind of taught me the ropes. That's something almost every single fashion company has. It's actually so wild when I learned that they just pick out the coolest, hottest girls in the store and take them on an all-expenses paid trip to Milan without their parents to go do some buying. Now that is something that you would pay some team of people each a salary of at least like 65K to be buyers, but they're just taking these girls out 1 week, no parents, out to Milan. I mean, they're saving so much money because they're getting paid maybe minimum wage. If there were an HR team, that shit would not be flying. Not to mention the CEO himself, Stefan Marsan, is actually a psychopath. Yes, he got exposed by Business Insider for being literally so racist, fat phobic, all the phobics, all the problematics, literally all of them. Like, not even in like a sensitive kind of way, like in a like literally any person with reason would be offended by this. Like super anti-Semitic, like literally photoshopped himself onto Hitler. That is mental illness. And he's working with little girls. First red flag. Oh, you make clothing for little girls? Okay, freak. Next, we're gonna see an expose on the owners of Justice. Oh, that would be rough. I hope it's owned by a woman, all I'm saying. Watching this documentary and doing my own research, I'm like, yeah, if any other company did this, it would not fly. Like, even people started going for Victoria's Secret for similar things, and now Victoria's Secret's kind of gone down the hill. So is this next, or do we just not care? Or does the demographic that buys here not really care? I don't know. What do you think? The second thing that boggles my mind is the lack of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Most companies, again, have literal teams of employees that are hired to ensure that these things are happening. I wouldn't say most, but a lot of big companies are turning the page to this. And Brandy's like, we'll go the opposite. We only sell one size, and that size is fucking skinny. Girl, what? Like, even Victoria's Secret is like quick to backpedal and be like, oh, look, we have diverse models and we do more sizes now, yay. Brandy Melville said, hey, eat your heart out. Go eat a salad. And they've been criticized since the beginning of time for having skinny white blonde models. And you know what's still on their website? Skinny white blonde models. Just in a time where everybody's putting such a focus on DEI, to me, I feel like that wouldn't be cool. Like Gen Z, we'd be like, yeah, that's not the vibe anymore. It's kind of chuggy to not be inclusive and just not shop there. But somehow they're still getting our business. The quality of Brandy Melville clothing is not good enough for us to be letting this shit slide, okay? Say that again with me. The quality of Brandy Melville clothing is not good enough to let this shit slide. Got it? One of Stefan's former right-hand men literally comes on and says, oh yeah, the made in Italy thing is awesome because people think it's quality, but it's made in a sweatshop in Italy. So it's just as bad as all the other shit you're getting. And a lot of people, I feel like to act like it's not fast fashion, but it's really not far off from, you know, your Zara, your H&M, your whatever. At one point, Brandy Melville was knocking off so many designs that they were caught in lawsuits. Literally, girls would come in the store, and if it wasn't a Brandy outfit, they'd take a picture of it and quickly knock it off. Or they'd buy the outfit right off the girl's body so that they could take it back and figure out how quickly they could knock off this piece of clothing. So when you shop at Brandy Melville, you're not buying original products, nor are you buying sustainable products, nor are you buying good quality products. So again, like, this business model shouldn't work if the product's not good, the structure isn't good, and the messaging isn't good. Like, why are we still supporting this? The last point that I want to address is the crazy, absolutely wild marketing tactics Brandy Melville has been using over the past few years. These marketing strategies seem so disconnected and confusing at times. I think when Brandy launched, they were one of the first brands to understand how to utilize Instagram and how to utilize influencers. They were really finding some of the first YouTube vloggers to review their clothes. Like, I found a Nikki and Gabby clothing haul from like 2009. All right, guys, I apologize for the lighting. I am still learning how to be a YouTuber, but to spice this video up, I did buy a couple pieces from Brandy Melville to do a real woman body try-on haul. If they fit, that doesn't mean you don't have a real woman body. I just wanted to show you my real woman body. I'm gonna shut the fuck up. By the way, I'm not a Brandy Melville supporter because I'm returning all of this, which actually makes me a Brandy Melville harmer because this probably eats into their bottom line when I return stuff. I mean, what a treat that this brand only carries one one size. What? And the size is usually a 2-4. Look at this skirt. This is the first thing I'm trying on. What is it called? I don't know, light brown skirt from John Galt. So embarrassed to be trying this on, but let's do it. Okay, this is the look. I don't know where it's supposed to sit because it's so micro. My macro is hanging out of it, if you know what I mean. Like, how are you supposed to sit in this? Or is it supposed to be like, bro, I feel so uncomfortable in this. It feels like cheapy material. Let's see, we've got pockets that are fake, typical. You do have these little like side loop-de-loops, so if you're one of the TikTok girls that are like, Brandy Melville's just too big for me now, you do have this option, sweetie. But would I recommend this? Ah! My mom would be so pissed. She's so particular about short skirts. No. Okay, look at these pantaloons. These are unreal. This is gonna be embarrassing, but I do it for you. All right, this is probably not the intended fit. I think they're supposed to be like a loose, playful vibe, and on me, it's kind of giving I got my tight pants. I got my tight pants on. These are so embarrassing. I'm not turning around for you in these. These look cheap too. This looks like Walmart. Like, why not just go to the little boys section of Walmart? I look like a child in boxers. Like, this is horrible. Okay, this dress, I know you can't see the full thing because I'm not very good at STEM, but this does eat, I fear. I can admit when I take an L, so if you see me wearing this, shut the fuck up, okay? It's got these little things to like snatch you in, like, got a hot date coming up and I actually might wear this. Just kidding. All right, so this is more of what I was expecting. Can you see how the chest is like skin tight? Like, I feel like, yeah, that's more of what I was expecting. I feel like this is pretty unflattering. It looks like way too small for me. I'm like, ew. But again, this is what I was expecting. Boom or doom? I'm gonna give it a doom. All right, I look like a cheerleader in this. This is ridiculous, but this material is this is getting a hole in it. Like, the first time you wear it, no shot, guaranteed. It's in my armpit because it's too small for me. I'm giving it a doom. Okay, so this is literally a shirt for babies. Like, I am wearing a baby shirt. Like, I have sports bras that are bigger than this. Like, what? I am clearly average body, but this is not it. This is like a night underwear top from Walmart. Like, this is something cigarette moms would have worn to pick up their kid from school like 15 years ago. So I'm giving this one a doom. Over the past few years, something has really gone awry. So for starters, a couple years ago, Brandy Melville opened a pizza shop. So get this, a notoriously fat-phobic brand. I did find several TikTok accounts, this is so alarming, called losing weight to fit into Brandy. And it would like have their weight and their height and their age and be like, yeah, just made this account to track my weight loss so I can fit into Brandy Melville. Okay, openly fat-phobic brand, okay? Starting a pizza parlor. I mean, that's not connected to the brand in any way besides, I guess it's Italian, but you really can't tell it's an Italian brand unless you're reading the labels, I guess. It's very America, it's very beach Malibu. So they start this pizza brand. I don't know if it's doing well because this company is not publicly traded, so we can't look at their stock, which I wish we could, but of course they're super sneaky, so. Homeboy lives in a secret like $9 million mansion in New York, so we're not getting too much tea. There's 3 pictures of the CEO on the internet. Anyway, back to the marketing strategies. So they do this pizza shop. No idea if it's doing well, but kind of a confusing move. They're also selling olive oil on their website. Like, literally, that's the only thing that's not clothing is a bottle of olive oil. Okay, weird. One of their biggest marketing blunders, in my opinion, is 2022, they started releasing band content. They've been having just random girl groups come perform in their Brandy Melville studio. Yes, they got a studio. They just randomly have people perform in it. Okay. And a lot of the comments are like, what the fuck is this, Brandy? There have been rumors that they're trying to start a record label. What I think happened is that their engagement was getting crushed when Reels came out on Instagram, so they just quickly went, fuck, what's like a cool way to make video that seems close to our brand? And they were like, let's just do music. Do I think it's connected to their brand? No. I think it is cooler than what a lot of brands do, where they just like point and they're like, sale, cool, 50% off. It is cooler than that, but it is still like so disconnected from what Brandy Melville is. Like, whose decision was, I don't know. Weird marketing decision, but it doesn't fucking matter because they're still making money. And then their website. That is usually such an important part of marketing. I worked at a marketing agency and I know how important your website is, especially when you're getting as much traffic on that website as Brandy Melville. When you go go to the homepage for most normal things, it will be like a big banner and it'll be designed beautifully and it will be 50% off summer sale, or it'll be like buy one get one for this stupid made up holiday, or it would be like our newest arrivals, and then it's pictures of the most expensive things. Like, it's very on purpose, looks very clean, very sleek. When you go to the Brandy Melville homepage, it's like random iPhone photos just like in a row of like mix match things. But one thing that bugs me, it's mostly like skinny 14-year-old girl looking motherfuckers in their underwear. Why would underwear be on the front page? I'm sorry, when I think Brandy Melville, I think of like shorts and tops. I do not think of chonies. And let's be real here, that's not your top ticket item. So like, why is that there? It's giving Lolita, especially once you learn the creepy shit the CEO was up to, having like a secret little apartment in New York that he just like let whoever wanted stay there, and it like caused a lot of problems. And when you know that he was collecting photos of everybody who worked for him, and when you know he was so invested in the looks of every single employee, it all comes together and it makes me feel fucking sick. Why is this man not behind bars? This is your sign to stop shopping at Brandy Melville. Honestly, you might be better off to get something off Temu. Kidding, chill. I don't know, I think we're just gonna have to be thrifting because of the insane amount of pollution and overspending we're doing in the clothing industry. I don't know, just wear your old shit, but don't buy Brandy Melville. And definitely go give this documentary a watch. It's amazing. Shout out to everybody who was involved. And if you've seen it, comment and let me know your thoughts.